And hello, welcome back to another episode of Trueslider Gaming. Today we're going to be playing Heroes of Hammerwatch. I'm a little more familiar with this game, having played the original. And realistically, Heroes of Hammerwatch is probably more like an expansion to Hammerwatch than a standalone game, but they made quite a bit of improvements, especially in terms of switching to online co-op instead of local co-op. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and make a new character. So all 7 classes are Paladin, Ranger, Sorcerer, Thief, Priest, and Wizard. If you're wondering what the difference between a Sorcerer and a Wizard are, Sorcerer seems to like a little more ice, but he has this sweet ricochet shot that allows you to shoot around corners. If you're getting started, I'd probably recommend starting out with the Sorcerer. He's a little bit squishy when it comes to fighting bosses, but I think you could probably make it through quite a bit of the game. Didn't really get to play much with the Wizard. His flamethrower ability, which I guess you can't see, is probably one of the stronger spells in the game. His regular shot is an AoE splash, but overall I just wasn't feeling the class. So to give myself kind of a bit of a challenge and switch to something new, let's go with Ranger. This is a brand new profile, so I'm not going to have anything in town, not going to have the Mystic area, not going to have the Priest Chapel. But let's see if we can't have some fun here. So of course my Ranger is going to be called True Ranger. Gotta embrace that RNG. So, briefly run around town. This is kind of the main hall where you are going to upgrade all of your town. Of course, they're going to tell you that you don't have any ore and you need to come back when you stop being such a pleb. But, I don't know, life's problems. Here's the blacksmith. Blacksmith doesn't care because you don't have any ore. You're probably going to see a recurring theme of, hey, why don't you come back when you have some ore? Even the guildmaster won't talk to me. Oh, no, he does. So this is how the skill trees kind of work. Every upgrade of the skill trainer will unlock a new tier. And then in order to unlock skills, you need just these extra stars. Not certain, but I believe each level you probably get about 3 stars. Probably get a little bit more than that now that I think about it. Everything slowly unlocks, and of course, you just can kind of get a grasp of what you're going to be doing as you go up. And then, I don't know, enjoy the grind. So I am choosing a very ranged class, just because, I don't know. There are too many things that explode, kill you. There's no point in standing in the fray of projectile nonsense. Oh. So this is the miner. Now that you have unlocked it, he allows you to send ore to town. But of course you don't want to send ore to town right away because it's a one-time use per level. And as soon as you get 2 bosses, you get the opportunity to send all of your gold and ore back up to town. There's a couple strategies that you can take when going through this. For example, gold can be used to be purchased stuff in the stores in the actual dungeon, but obviously if you send it all up, you're probably not going to have a very long run. You can find different textures. When we were setting up our character, you notice I had a choice of colors. On a new profile, you're not going to start out with very many colors, so you're going to be needing to pick up these little, I don't know, texture palettes along the way. So for people who are not familiar with Hammerwatch, a lot of it is around like secret items, little puzzles. It's overall a really neat game. This little area here is kind of like a random treasure reward. You click the center, you watch it unfold, and you get your 1 item. 6% evasion. So all these floors are randomly generated, so you're not going to have And probably too much trouble. A lot of the times everything is very simplistic, especially to start out. For those of you who have actually played Hammerwatch before, this is probably going to be pretty familiar. The first couple levels are quite similar to the first game. But on the other hand, the classes, while carrying some of the original values and probably a little bit more of the skill mindset for the classes, have been probably vastly improved, I would say. So here's an example of one of the trap rooms. So as you can see, the trick is not to stand on the spiky floor of doom. For most part, it will one-shot you. But then all you have to do is just dodge the arrows. You'll make it out. At the end of every puzzle, there's always a switch to disarm it. So I don't know if this is just a new game start or whether or not this start has been very lenient. But normally you don't find 6 ore per floor. The game usually wants you to grind out a couple floors before you get into some pretty good upgrade areas. Of course, walking into walls doesn't help either. So each class kind of has like their pros and their cons. Rangers are obviously the maximum range. You can stand away while fighting enemies. It isn't a straight line, and you kind of get your one little line of attacks. So you do kind of have to plan accordingly, especially when some of the mobs start getting harder. You want to make sure that you're watching your damage and making sure that you have enough life to take some of these hits that'll probably one-hit kill you. I might not have mentioned, but every time you come in, this guy just doesn't care. He's gonna stand there until you die. Stand there, watch you die, and then magically appear in town. So, this is the alchemist. He gave me a potion. And anytime you see like these little water fountains or kind of like, I believe it's like a well, like a pump, you can refill your potion, upgrade your potion, change the amount that it heals, all sorts of stuff. That is a very interesting corridor. It doesn't seem to lead anywhere aside from doom. Yeah. So a large aspect of the game is kind of just dying and regrinding each floor. Obviously, you're not going to get enough ore on your first run through to unlock the majority of the town. So probably for this playthrough, I'm just going to try and focus on the essential stuff. Get that blacksmith unlocked. 20% EXP definitely helps for maybe accelerating some of the grind. And of course, once I die, it'll all be meaningless anyways, because we'll have to restart. I originally picked up the first Hammerwatch because there seemed to be a drought of co-op games. I think by this point, me and my friends were just kind of sick and tired of playing Borderlands 2 and you know, looking forward to something that had a little bit more challenge. You know, big gauntlet fan, which I think the creators probably draw a lot from. Oh. And there I am, walking into mobs like a champ, thinking my special attack is powered up. So along your way you'll find different keys. We were opening basically non-locked chests. So if we find another brown chest with a lock, you know, we can get better treasure. It seems the more rare the chest is, the better the treasure drop. From bronze, silver, and gold keys. So a big part of the enjoyment about gearing up in this game, even though you lose most of your equipment every time you die, well, all of your equipment, aside from your base upgrades, is you get the ability to have combos and set pieces. And it's not a set piece like you would think, well, you have to have one headpiece, you have to have one weapon, you have to have one bracer. In Heroes of Hammerwatch, it's just kind of like you have a global inventory. So if I bring up my character, you can see that it shows me how many pieces of everything that I have. So I have 2 pieces, or I have 2 pieces of the retaliation set. Oops. So this goes with the trickster set, which is right here for the slippery cloak. So when I have 2 pieces, I gain a movement speed bonus when evading. Third piece gives me another 5% evasion. And when you do an evasion with 4 pieces, it allows you to trigger a combo. The combo system isn't unlocked just yet, but it's basically kind of like, I don't know, it's like haste. It's kind of like you get more actions per movement, you can move faster while attacking. So overall it's pretty cool. Complete wrong order, alright. One is not bad, especially since we have a shop just over to the left. Now the trick really is going to be getting over that shop without killing myself, since I'm still running level 1 upgrades. The one nice thing, poison is just terrible in this game. But the one nice thing that you can kind of get out of being poisoned is poison will never take you below 1 health. So if you're low on health and you take a poison hit, you know, you don't really have to worry about the ticks killing you. More just like the little bats and slugs and everything else that's probably going to run into you. Oof. Coordination and aiming is at an all-time low. And so as you start to go through, you can improve the town, unlock different things like the well, and the well allows you to have just basically different, change the dungeon around, I guess for better or for worse. You can make it easier and take an EXP and gold penalty, or you can be a masochistist bastard and just kind of make it as hard as you really want it to be. So we want some physical attack. That's not a good value though. I'm going to disarm. Take the defender's halberd to disarm my enemies. Missed that one treasure side. And there we go. Now we can put our key to use, and it's filled with a 10% straight increase to beasts. as well as 10% more EXP every time you kill them. Oh, and that's it. So I'm gonna stow and go all my stuff. The more gold you try to hold on to in your town, the higher the tax is gonna be. So realistically, you want to get to kind of like the optimal point if you're not just saving for a rainy day all the time. And there are upgrades that you can build to increase the amount before you hit that 50% tax rate. So here's the big rock golem. He's when you first start to play him, it's kind of weird, especially if you pick like a melee class. Like I love the rogue when the game first started, because it was so easy just to walk up and get so many hits in. But when the closer you get, obviously, the harder it is to dodge these spike projectiles that he shoots at you. Oh, a little bit faster. It's definitely a lot easier when you get to see what a boss does. You die to him 7 classes over. So, once again, a little bit more familiar. They use a little bit of the same tile set from the original Hammerwatch. Oof, and I just don't do any good damage whatsoever. So the kind of theme to this area is you're trying to find a button on the wall. This button just looks like a normal square, but the devs brought it upon themselves to think that everyone should be looking behind just all this vines and any possible way that you could not be able to see it while going through in like a casual playthrough. So for example, just as I was saying it, do you see the little edges of this square here? Yeah, no, neither would I on my first playthrough. But this is the button you're literally looking for on this floor every single time. And when you unlock it, you get unlock the treasures. Oh my. Mistakes were made. Oof. Not good. Oof. Let's see if we... of course not. I was going to say, let's try and find a little bit of a safer area. Oof. Because especially when you're playing this overpowered or underpowered, it's rather hard to get too far into the game. Oof. This is probably one of the few games that I don't recommend doing drive-bys, just because one little nudge and you'll lose like a quarter, half, even 2/3 of your health depending on the class that you're going to play. Especially with no combo meter, terrible items, no damage, but we'll make it happen. mind if I do. Okay, here's another pretty fun puzzle for those of you who are probably going to see this game for the first time. The goal of this is to just make sure that the power stays on, so you're always going to try and hit the unlit button. The more characters that you do, or the more players that you do with in the game, actually the faster and the harder it is to get a top score. But let's give it a shot. Oof. So, it's very subtle, but I can see that on the side there, that Apothecary's Herb that I picked up gave me my second potion slot. Temporary bonus, obviously. But every time I drink my potion, I'll get a 50% move speed buff. And let's be real here. The real prize is that 4-piece set. 1% chance to refill a potion charge when you kill an enemy. If you can get 3 pieces early on, usually I'll dedicate the run to not just dropping off all my gold and trying to kill myself to restart. Because I mean, the game is pretty challenging, and most people will tend to just, I don't know, dive bomb the first couple levels. Just to get a whole bunch of ore, build up your town, make yourself pretty beefy. But I don't know. I think it might be a little bit funner to watch just trying to plow through as fast as possible. Money. All right, this place is clear. Still on floor 1. Is this locked? Oh no. Seal of Souls. Deal 0.5 more damage for each % of mana missing. This is pretty nice for auto attack build. Obviously 0.5 is, I don't know, kinda negligible. But I don't know. It's a grinding game. Every little piece helps. Great. Poison off? Poison off. Ooh, and a store. Town ain't getting no money. That would be nice. 2.5% chance to score a critical hit. Curio's box is kind of just like a bunch of generic stats. 5 health and mana, 3 attack and skill power, 2 armor and resistance. Firm Buckler, I mean 5 physical damage is nice. But when you're taking hits for like 30 damage and your health pool is 60, sure, it might give you that 1 extra hit. But usually, you probably see it on When I Die, quote me now, is I will get shotgunned and immediately die. And that 5 damage negated will be absolutely useless. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to go low enough to use the old map. So let's go with extra stats, and I'll come back for that scimitar. So as always, we kind of just have to rub up against every wall, try and see if the button will be nice enough to show up on the screen. Oof. Not nice. Oof. Oh, I got gated. So if you didn't notice, I got a little bunch of kid ticks coming out of that little grate when I tried to make a hasty escape. So all that ore and all that extra gold I was holding on to gets taken by the bugs. The bugs are going to upgrade their town now. But I'm 1 ore away, aren't I? Oh, no, 5. So, blacksmith. Absolutely important. I wish I had that extra ore for the apothecary. So every time you upgrade a piece of the town, it's going to reset and kind of just reload. Just go ahead and quickly max out. Oh, I guess we're not on speaking terms. Ice cold, bro. Ice cold. So, casting a skill, get a buff that increases movement speed and 5% evasion. Realistically, we want to try and get the ricochet splitting shot as quickly as possible. But given that it's tier 4, I think we're going to be waiting for a little while. Fires 32 arrows. I'll take the movement speed bonus first. Shouldn't be too hard to get what we need to start getting our town in a little bit better shape. Okay, so I'm not digging this layout, and I'm not noticing a lot of ore right off the bat. So let's shortcut. After you kill a boss on any character, you get to unlock the warp that kind of sends you into like a mini battle, or a mini I don't know a good word for it. Basically, just have to survive waves to ensure that you're ready to move on to the next area. I've spoken too soon. Well, we're coming up on 30 minutes here, so what the hell. We'll grab this ore, and then I'll show you the gauntlet. Shiny portals. When is it not a good idea to go into a shiny portal? So here's the Rubik's Cube of Doom, and as soon as I poke this thing, skeletons are going to pop out. EXP is always welcome in this game. But so is damage. Do myself a favor and get rid of that archer. Or I guess harpoon thrower? I'll give him that. He's very handsome and looks exactly like my character model. Maybe without the fancy quiver on the back. That's right, simple AI. Follow me around. Get out of here. Oh. I exploded. So, didn't even get to use my potion charge. I think 2 skeleton soldiers hit me at once. But that's just me playing poorly. Okay, so we'll call this an episode, and I will see you next time. Thanks.